The Sheepdogs are a Canadian rock and roll band formed in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan in 2006. The group consists of lead singer and guitarist Ewan Currie, bass guitarist Ryan Gullen, drummer Sam Corbett, guitarist Jimmy Bowskill, and Shamus Currie, brother of lead singer Ewan Currie, playing trombone, keyboards, and tambourine. The Sheepdogs became the first unsigned band to make the cover of Rolling Stone magazine in 2011 and have since grown to popularity in Canada and the United States. Frontman Ewan Currie describes the band's retro, guitar-driven blues rock style as a Euro-oepa, simple, good-time music. Their distinctive sound has been called the Guitar-mony, because of the use of harmonies in guitar solos and vocals. The Sheepdogs consider their style to be somewhere between the riff-heavy bombast of Led Zeppelin and the melodies and harmonies of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Currie often credits groups like Sly and the Family Stone, Humble Pie, Creedence Clearwater Revival, and the Allman Brothers Band as influences on his style. The Sheepdogs firmly believe that touring and recording are equally important in the process of making and perfecting their music. The band tours frequently, regularly playing a number of large festivals including South by Southwest in Austin, Texas, Edguist in Toronto and Ottawa's Bluesfest and City Folk Festival. History: Ewan Currie was born in Australia, but moved to Saskatoon at 11 where he met Ryan Gullen. The pair went to different middle schools but met in a regional music program once a week where they both played clarinet. Currie and Gullen grew to be close friends at Evan Hardy High School in Saskatoon. In their spare time they learned to play guitar. Currie played defensive line for the Shoola Euro unregistered trademark S football team and appeared in a number of school theatre productions. Currie and Gullen wanted to make an effort to try new things and meet new people at university, so when they met Sam Corbett they decided to form a band. The pair met Sam Corbett, the band a Euro unregistered trademark S future drummer, at the University of Saskatchewan. Because Corbett had an old bass guitar and a gift certificate to a local music store, they rented a drum kit and started playing in Corbett a Euro unregistered trademark S parents a Euro unregistered trademark basement with Corbett on drums, Gullen playing the bass, and Currie playing an electric guitar that he had recently purchased. They honed their skills playing 70s blues rock songs as well as newer material like covers of the early Black Keys and Kings of Leon, all the while writing their own music. Currie, Gullen, and Corbett called their trio The Breaks and released an EP in 2006. In the summer of 2006, Currie, Gullen, and Corbett spotted Lee Hansen playing acoustic guitar at a party. Hansen was playing a Kings of Leon song from their first album and the trio joined in. The next day, Hansen joined the band and they changed their name to the Sheepdogs. The band's name is inspired by a story from Currie's childhood. A young Currie, left playing in his front yard, had wandered off down the street, and when his frantic mother went searching for him, she found him in a park playing with a big friendly sheepdog. Currie described the indecent in an interview with the National Post, saying, "A Euro unregistered trademark. They always felt like those dogs were especially benevolent and sort of watched over me." Musical career: after Lee Hansen joined the band in 2006, the Sheepdogs independently released their first album Trying to Grow, which they recorded at Cosmic Pad Studios in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. 2 years later, after almost constant touring, the Sheepdogs returned to Cosmic Pad Studios to record their second full-length album, Big Stand. The first two records were small affairs, including artwork by friends and family, and were mixed by the band. The band's third studio album, Len and Burn, was initially released in 2010, then re-released in 2011 following the band's winning of the Rolling Stone Euro's Choose the Cover competition. The album peaked at number 14 on the Canadian Albums Chart, and won the award for Rock Album of the Year at the 2012 Juno Awards. The album's first single, I Don't Know, won the Juno Award for Single of the Year. On February 5, 2013, the album was certified platinum in Canada. Things were looking rough for the Sheepdogs in 2011. The band had hit a dead end, traveling hours by road from the isolation of Saskatoon to small gigs in Calgary or Toronto in their 1995 Dodge 3500 touring van was taking its toll on the group's morale. The band was in debt, having just returned from an expensive trip to Los Angeles to play for a dead crowd of industrial workers that they had been told would be a big break. Things were about to change though. An agent that the band had met in Toronto had submitted a demo tape to Rolling Stone sh Choose the Cover competition. The Sheepdogs beat 15 other bands to get the contest win and were featured on the August 18, 2011 cover of Rolling Stone magazine, the first unsigned act to do so. During the competition, the band made appearances on Late Night with Jimmy Fallon and performed at the Bonnaroo Music Festival as well as the Osheaga Festival in Montreal, Quebec. Following their win, the band signed with Atlantic Records with a new album being produced by the Black Keys drummer Patrick Carney in Nashville. In 2011 the band's 5 Easy Pieces EP debuted at number 7 on the Canadian Albums Chart, selling 3,300 copies. The song, Who? From this EP was featured in a scene of the second episode of Season 12 of the hit CBS series CSI, Crime Scene Investigation, which aired on September 29, 2011. Their song Learn My Lesson was also featured in the opening montage of the sports video game MLB 12, The Show. On September 22, 2011, the band won the 3 CASBY awards they were nominated for. They won Favorite New Artist, Favorite Indie Album, and Favorite New Album. The Sheepdogs won Rock Album of the Year at the 2011 Western Canadian Music Awards. On April 1, 2012, the Sheepdogs won 3 Juno Awards, Rock Album of the Year, Best New Group and Single of the Year, during which the group was touring in Australia with John Fogerty and were unable to attend. The Sheepdogs played several festivals in summer 2012. Including the Catalpa Music Festival on Randall's Island in New York City on July 28, 2012. On September 4, 2012, the Sheepdogs released their self-titled album on Atlantic Records, produced by Black Keys drummer Patrick Carney. The album was recorded during an intensive 2-week session with Carney at Hoptown Studio in Nashville, Tennessee. The Sheepdogs was the band's first album with a major record label. The album featured the gold-certified songs A Euro Oe Feeling Good A Euro and A Euro Oe The Way It Is A Euro, which joined songs from the previous album as classic rock radio staples in Canada. The Sheepdogs have often worked with CBC Music, a branch of CBC Radio Canada that highlights Canadian artists through sessions and videos posted to YouTube and the CBC website. In 2012, the band played a live session on the roof of the CBC Toronto building. The 18-minute recording was posted to CBC Music on September 4, and featured 4 songs from the band's self-titled album, The Way It Is, Feeling Good, Ewan's Blues, and Alright OK. The band finished the set with a cover of the band's hit The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down. The last 2 songs of the session also featured fellow Canadian artist Travis Good from the country rock group The Sadies. In 2013, CBC Music flew the band to Memphis, Tennessee to record a number of songs at the iconic Sun Studio. The sessions included covers of 3 Elvis Presley songs which were originally recorded by Presley at the studio, That's Alright, Heartbreak Hotel, and Hound Dog. The session also included the band's own songs Javelina from their self-titled album and Hang On To Yourself from their first album Trying to Grow. The band also visited Elvis's home at Grassland, Bill Street, and the popular Memphis restaurant Gus's world-famous fried chicken, where they recorded intros for each of the songs. In November, the song The Way It Is was incorporated into a television commercial aired nationally for Cadillac ATS automobiles. Lead Hansen left the band in July 2014 shortly after he opened the Capitol Music Club, a bar and music venue in Saskatoon. Following departure of Lead Hansen, Winnipeg guitarist Rusty Mathias, a friend of the band, has stepped in as the Sheepdogs guitarist for the tour promoting the band's self-titled album. Mathias eventually joined the band as a full-time member and has served as guitarist since 2014, including the Sheepdogs' 5th studio album Future Nostalgia. As the band found a new balance, Mathias and Currie split the lead guitar parts, playing back and forth or in harmony on most of the band's songs. Mathias also features in some of the band's earlier songs, including Crying, and The Contenders on the band's second studio album The Sheepdogs' Big Stand released in 2008. Shamus Currie, younger brother of lead singer Ewan Currie, has toured with the band since the release of their fourth studio album The Sheepdogs. Shamus Currie's trombone features prominently in the band's live performances of the song Ewan's Blues, in which Shamus Currie usually takes center stage, often ending the song with a solo version of Ewan Currie's a cappella outro. Shamus Currie has also featured on a number of the band's early albums. Currie's trombone can be heard on the song Black and Tan from the Sheepdogs' Big Stand, and Rollo Tomasi from Learn and Burn. In May 2015, the song Feeling Good was played each time the Canada men's national ice hockey team scored during the 2015 IIHF World Championship in Prague, Czech Republic. The band released Downtown on July 3, 2015, the first single from their fifth album Future Nostalgia, dispelling any rumors that the band had been set back by the loss of guitarist Leet Hansen. In the weeks leading up to the release of Future Nostalgia, the band released an official music video for the single on their YouTube channel. The video features the band members playing downtown in an office setting and making a general mess of the place as people try to go about their monotonous business. The band's fifth album, Future Nostalgia, was released October 2, 2015 from the independent label Dine Alone Records. The 18-track record was well received by reviewers and fans, nearing the top of the iTunes Canadian charts. Future Nostalgia was recorded in a rented cottage in Stony Lake, Ontario, and produced by lead singer and songwriter Ewan Currie. Currie explained the choice, saying, we wanted to cut out all the noise and get back to a place where we could just fully immerse ourselves in music. The band worked on the album full-time in Stony Lake, wanting to find some middle ground between the informal garage sound of the platinum-certified Learn and Burn and the whirlwind sessions in Nashville with Black Keys drummer Patrick Carney that produced the band's self-titled album. We worked hard, but we also made sure to keep it loose and have ourselves a good time, Currie said in a post on the band's website. The album streamed for free the week prior to its release on CBC Music, a platform that the band has used a number of times in the past. Discography Studio albums EPs 5 easy pieces Singles Music videos Filmography Television Awards and nominations. References. External links, official website, The Sheepdogs at Rolling Stone.